What's up, family? How y'all doing? And welcome back to another episode of the Willing and Able show. So, man, whoo! It's been a while since I've been on here, family. I had to take a little hiatus, but your boy is back and in full effect. So, today I want to talk about how my college experience changed my life. For those who do not know, I did graduate from the Edward Waters University, the first HBCU in the state of Florida. I'm going to say that again. The first HBCU in the state of Florida. So, man, my journey to getting to Edward Waters, it was a journey indeed. So, man, I had to take it all the way back to my senior year of high school. So, I grew up in a small town, as many of y'all know if y'all been supporting your boy for a while. You know I grew up in a small town. And when I tell you, like, I really didn't know anything about college for real. Like, I knew certain things, but certain things I didn't have the knowledge of, man. So, I end up, figuring out how to do the ACC, SAT, and things of that nature. And I end up, like, going to these workshops. I end up, taking the ACC. I did fairly well on it the first time. But, my parents was like, I think you should retake it again just to see if you can get a little bit higher. So I end up going to another workshop just to learn about, the ACT even more and find out some tips and things of that nature. And then I started, and I took it again. And this time I end up, it's crazy because, like, I forgot my calculator. The second time I went, I forgot my calculator at home. So I had to go all the way back home. And then I had to end up going back to the place, and I made it in the nick of time, y'all. Like, they was literally finna shut the doors, y'all. So, all glory be to God. So I end up going, doing it, and I end up taking it, and I end up scoring higher than I did originally. And after that, you submit your SAT, ACT score to the schools that you want to go. I can't remember all of them, but I end up submitting them to the schools that I wanted to attend at that time. So at that time, I sent off my applications, I paid the fees, and so you who want to go to college, you need to listen to this part, okay? Because I didn't know this part. So I end up sending my things off to the people. I end up finding the money and the funds that I needed to get to the application fee. First off, I didn't even know you had to pay an application fee to even go to college. Like, I just thought you sent your ACT score and SAT score, and they automatically knew that, like, you was interested in it. No, that's not the case. So you actually got to apply, go to the college, fill out this long paperwork, and then pay for it to be sent to the school. Yeah, that's crazy, I know. But, so once you do that, y'all, once I did that, y'all, I literally was just waiting. I had a dream school, y'all, and I ended up getting a acceptance letter. So I ended up getting a acceptance letter in, like, December. So, your boy was already finna go. I was on go. Like, every other college that sent me, I was like, appreciate you, but, I'm already, I'm committed. I'm going for, like, you hit me, my dream school just accepted me. So I end up going to my dream school, which is Alabama State University. Shout out, go Hornets. I still got love for y'all. Y'all still hold a special place in my heart, and I still be repping y'all every chance I get. But, so I end up going there, and this is where me being from a small town came into effect. So I end up going there, man, shoo, boy, I was smart in high school. That's what I thought. I thought I was, like, smart. So I ended up going to college, and that's when you find out how smart she is. So, man, I ended up taking 18 credit hours because I was like, man, look, I took this many classes in high school. I know I can pass it. I passed them in high school with A's and B's. I know I can doggone pass these classes with a breeze. 8 a.m., I've been waking up at 6 o'clock since I was little. I can do that. Let me tell you now, don't ever do that. Don't take 8 a.m.s unless you severely, like you have to take 8 a.m.s. If you don't have to take 8 a.m.s, do not do it. It is not recommended. That 8 a.m. in high school is very, very different from 8 a.m. in college. And for y'all who in college, y'all know what your boy talking about. And for y'all who in high school, listen, because I didn't know this. So I end up taking all these courses. I end up taking 8 a.m.s. and the curriculum was so rigorous. I'm talking about they dropped stuff, boom, boom, back to back to back. And I was like, whoa, like I'm smart. I understand this, but it's so much material at one time. And I was a biology major. So y'all who do biology, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like it was just like boom, boom. I'm like, yo, that is crazy work. Like I to this day, like man, look, God glory be to God, but I end up not doing too well. And it wasn't because I was partying. It wasn't because I was out here doing all this crazy stuff. I literally could not keep up with the workload. Like, I was totally in shock. So, I end up almost flunking out my first semester. Like, I was like, what in the world? I ended up being on, like, academic probation the next semester. And I finally got a hang of that spring semester, y'all. So I was like, okay, I know not to take no 8 a.m.s. I know not to take no 18 credit hours. I took 12 credit hours from that day until I graduated at Edward Waters. Because I was not finna do that again. And so I ended up doing very well that semester. I ended up making a dean list the very next spring semester. And then this is where, like, I thought the world ended. So, you know, for y'all who know, financial aid is a thing. You know, I didn't grow up with money, so I had to take out them loans. You hear me? So I had to take out the loans, and like, I end up not being able to afford to stay at Alabama State. And I was heartbroken. I was like, dang, bro, like, this is my dream school. I've been wanting to go to this school for the longest. Like, I've been wanting to play in a band. Shoot, since I was like in 10th grade, I've been wanting to play in a band. And I was like, dang, I don't have the money. Like, I was like, wow, like, that's crazy. And I was kind of depressed for a while. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was, like, depressed for, like, a year after that. And I end up coming back home to Georgia, and I ended up going to a community college. And, you know, I could have stayed there all 3 years. Because it technically was a community college, but it was, like, transforming into a 4-year. So it's like some degrees had, like, you can get your 4-year degree there, some you can. So I literally ended up transferring there. I was undecided major, y'all. I was just like, at this point, I knew I didn't want to do biology anymore because that was insane. Shout out to all y'all who got a biology degree. So, salute y'all. Yeah, your boy can't do that. But I ended up being undeclared at the community college that I went to, and some odd reason, one day my major got switched from undeclared to business. And I was like, I didn't switch nothing. And like, my dad ended up telling me, he was like, oh yeah, I end up like some kind of way he ended up switching it to business. But that was all glory be to God, because that ended up helping me later. So I stayed there. I was debating because I could have stayed there. Cool. With my degree, I literally could have went there all 4 years. And graduated from that university, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I end up, my dad ended up finding about Edward Waters, and he was like, hey, somebody just told me about this school. It's called Edward Waters University. I was like, where is that? Like, I've never heard of that. He was like, yeah, it's a HBCU. I was like, it's a what now? I've never heard of that HBCU. So he was like, yeah, it's in Florida. Immediately, he said Florida. I said, oh, for real? I love Florida. Like, that's one of my dream states that I want to live in. So I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, it's in Jacksonville. I'm like, oh, bet. So I end up like looking up the school, and I liked it. I liked what I seen on the website. I ended up looking at it on YouTube, and then I found out they had a band. I said, oh, yeah. So I end up like looking up their band, seeing how it was and everything. First of all, shout out to the Triple Threat marching band. You hear me? But yeah, so I end up talking to the band director there at the time, and he was like, yeah, man, just send me an audition tape, things of that nature. I sent it in. And then a couple weeks later, I ended up getting like a scholarship, and he was like, yeah, we're offering you a scholarship. I was like, what? Because at the time, I wasn't confident in myself. I was like, man, I ain't finna get this scholarship. I ended up getting a scholarship, y'all. And then after that, I literally end up like going to visit. And I fell in love with the campus, Fell in love with how the band was playing. I fell in love with like the community. 'Cause it's not a big HBCU, but it's like it's so tight knit that we are literally family. Like it's literally people who I talk to this day that I went to school with. Like for real, for real. But so I end up going to fast forward a little bit. I end up attending the school, and then I end up joining the band, and this is where God changed my life. He broke me down. He transformed me into the man that I am today. And I'm going to get this out here. I know I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But he transformed me into the man that I am today. So I end up going there, and the depression that I was dealing with was gone. I started speaking like videos. People was already telling me to do it, but I was too scared to do it. I started speaking in videos, started doing motivation videos. I end up like getting able to travel. Like I went to Southern and played against their band. So I went to Louisiana. I went to North Carolina. I went to, of course, Georgia. I ended up going to Tampa. I end up playing against bands that I always, seen growing up. End up playing against them. End up meeting some of my best friends to this day who are like family, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. Man, I end up meeting business people, like literally coming in contact with some business people who was doing a thing in the business world. You know what I'm saying? So I end up coming in contact with them. I end up like just seeing like different companies, and I end up like just building a network for real. And like you going to college, like that's literally a place of network, and you go to a HBCU, I commend you for going to college in general. Like you don't got to go to no HBCU. You can go to a PWI, you hear me? But from my experience, I went to a HBCU, and that HBCU love is like no other. You could have went to a whole different school and they gonna show you some love because you went to a HBCU and they went to a HBCU. So like sometimes I even wear my stuff around, where I'm from, and people like, oh, you went there at Waters? I'm like, whoa, you know about Eat Up? Like y'all know about us? They're like, yeah. And then we end up chopping it up. Next thing you know, that's a whole nother connect. So it changed my life like that. Like I got out of shyness. I got out of, being scared of trying new things. Like literally, man, like that school literally gave me a second chance. Cause like literally, like I thought I was done. Cause you remember I took my first year, I literally thought I was gonna flunk out of school. But that wasn't the case. Like I ended up graduating, and when I graduated, bro, it felt so good, y'all. Like I still remember my graduation, and it's finna be 5 years ago. Dang, that's crazy. But I was sitting down thinking, and I was just like, whoa, like all that trial, all the tribulation from almost flunking out of school to being depressed to having to leave my dream school to go to community college to going back and coming back and then going to E-Dub, like at Waters, and just be where I'm at now, like it was emotional, y'all. I was like, dang. Like I really just it's just amazing. That's all I could say, y'all. It's amazing, and I just thank God, and like all glory be to God. But I really hope that video helped y'all. I really hope it just inspires y'all. And if y'all are a person trying to get into college, definitely, hopefully this advice helped you, and I hope that it leads you to the college that God has for you. But remember, God loves you, and also remember, y'all have a blessed, positive, productive day, family. Peace. Love you.